Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Hey, thank you for joining us here on this wonderful Wednesday. It's all middle of the week, a couple of days before Christmas. There may be no chimneys, no white snow, no reindeers on sleds, but hey, we can still have a very Merry Christmas. 1-800-534-8255. There's going to be some open line. 1 o'clock, Dr. Shari Smith is going to join us to talk about overseas scholarships. Hey, education is important. That deadline is looming. Why don't we get some information in so that over the holidays we can make sure students get their applications. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow,
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us. It is open line here on Talk Today, Wednesday in the middle of the week. Or some says, as a fellow was sharing with me earlier, he says, ever since he started shift work, he never knows when the first day is. So today is his first day, got a 2-day break, and he thought, wow, what if it was next week? And then he had 2 more, but it's not the case. So many of us are working in different times, and some of us will be finding ourselves working every day, it seems like all day long. Let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Sterling.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
I am just beautiful.
There you go.
Getting close to Christmas and looking forward to it coming and going.
Is it feeling like Christmas to you?
Every day feel like Christmas, Sterling. Every day feel like Christmas in the Cayman Islands. We live where I don't want to come and live.
Yeah, but are we doing enough to take care of it, to protect it and preserve it? No,
we're not doing enough. We're not doing enough. Our backs are too weak.
Yeah.
We put the government in to help with some of the situations, and it seems to get worse, and our backs are getting weaker and weaker, and that is so sad in this island. But Sterling, I want to talk to you about the topic for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling, I know some years ago they came into workers' door to put down some sidewalk, and they put one right down in front of my brother's house. And I pulled up there one evening to go and drop something off for him, and I pull up on the sidewalk, partial, and by the time I could go inside, came back outside, just dropping off an item. There was a police out there telling me I can't park like that and blah, blah. I say, yes, sir, I'm quite sure I'm not supposed to do, but I'm sorry. And, just then drop an item off and I'm leaving. Anyhow, to say that, to say this, Sterling, the sidewalks are being parked, cars are being parked up on the sidewalk. People are renting and don't have sufficient parking space for their tenants to park in their parking in the yards or the property yards where they're renting. And we got cars all over the road.
Mm-hmm.
And the sidewalks cars are parking up on the sidewalk. And I don't see anybody getting a ticket or anything saying do not park on sidewalks. But we can't put a sign everywhere. And common sense will tell you that is to walk and probably to ride on. That's about it, not to park half your car up on it. I did it one time and I never did it again because it's very inappropriate. But it was just fresh to done up there in Walker's Road, where the cops came up from, I don't even know. But he talked to me about it in regards, and I didn't make it happen again. And the thing with the Sterling, you can be in a parking lot and reversing to come out that space, and a car shoots across you. Can you just imagine? Don't even give you the time to get out of that parking space. Even if they wasn't going to take the space, and here you are halfway. Turning out of that parking space, they're going to still shoot across you. Girl, let me tell you something. When I look into all this traffic, and if we don't get some restriction on these vehicles that we got here in this island, it's going to be a doomsday in this island with all these cars. People not taking their time. We got pedestrians, we got riders, and they feel because they're on the road that they can do just what a car do. No, it doesn't work like that, I don't think. You need to protect yourself, too.
What sort of restrictions, sorry to interrupt, what sort of restrictions would you want, that you think we should put in place?
In motorists and pedestrians and bicycles?
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's fully restrictions, but I mean, a sidewalk is a sidewalk to walk on.
Mm-hmm.
A road is to drive on, and to pedestrians is to be able to walk to. And cyclists, by the fact for me is, they are very careless when they step up in front of you. They go to the pedestrian crossing, and they step right off, and the car is coming. I think that you're going to use the pedestrian. You should go to the pedestrian, stop, and wait for the cars to stop, and then you proceed across. But they're not doing that. They just crossing, and other words, hit me if you can. Hit me, you hit me. Mm. That's the behavior you get okay from some of these people. I don't know, restriction, I don't know if that's the right word to use it, but the point is, we need to use more common sense.
Okay. If I may, without question, we've heard, the officer on PC, Julianne Power, yesterday, talking about exercising this more courtesy and respect on the roads. But if I could ask of you, what do you think of the notion that some have put forward that we need to limit the number of cars that are on our roads, either limit the number that are imported, limit the number that we are allowed to own? Bermuda, it has a limit on how many cars per household. Some countries have a limit on, who can own cars and the like. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I always think about Bermuda. Something needs to be done. Bermuda, They seem to be surviving the way they're doing it. We got families here, got 67 cars in the yard, and everybody going a different direction. They refuse to carpool. We don't have a proper bus service in the island, so they can even use the bus to go to work being dressed in a suit or the nice clothes and the stockings and high heels, because when they get on there, then they smell two construction person or two helpers and say, man, I don't smell too good today, here I am all dressed up. You know that kind of way? You know that I got to run to their mind. You know that, right?
Well, we've seen some in suits that, if you're looking at BO, their aroma isn't the most appealing either. So.
Hey, you know what I mean? Uh-huh. Exactly, but I'm just doing a figure speak.
No, I hear you, Mom. I hear you. Yes, Mom.
But, Sterling, something needs to be done out here. I just feel if everybody could respect everybody and stop doing all the crazy driving. I was coming on in the morning, 6 o'clock, and as I got onto the highway, the Newlands Highway, which is called Crichton Boulevard, as I got on there, someone put their bright lights on me. I say, oh yeah, who can play this thing? So I just drive normal. I wouldn't move any faster. And he stayed up on my bumper, and he gave me his bright lights until I got down to Thomason Roundabout. That's when he dimmed his light. So disrespectful. He wanted me to speed up or pull off the road for him to overtake me. I'm on time for my job. I didn't know about him. I was driving appropriate at my speed, and I was not fast enough for him. They want to run you off on our highway men in the morning, but something needs to be done. We're going past all these old stupid laws, and none of them is working. We need to pass some more serious laws and get these officers out here and do more work. Mm-hmm. We need to get out here. They're afraid of the rain. They're afraid of the sun, but they're not afraid of cell phone, and they're not afraid to start up and hold a conversation. This airport is number one for it, but I'll talk to you about another time. I got to go, Sterling. I'm working.
Well, there you go, man. Thank you.
I'll talk to you later.
Thank you for sharing with us. Be safe out there and enjoy it as well. All right. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255 is going to be open line. At the good company again. It almost feels like, I reach out, he answers the call. Raymond Singh. How are you, man?
I'm good. Hello. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday indeed.
A wonderful Wednesday, I tell you, man. And I'm glad that you're sitting across and we get a chance to chat. It seems like yesterday that we were talking.
It was just yesterday, doesn't it? It's a fun time hanging out with you in the Talk Today studio. And
all right.
So happy to be here again.
Thanks, Mom. My engineer is saying, pull that mic closer, as I tell the engineer, hit the button so I can hear it in my headset. Press the button, Mr. DJ. Oh, you'll get there at some point. But the idea that it's Christmas, and as the caller just shared, for some reason there's more traffic on the roads.
Of course.
People it seems that people are in a bit of a hurry. Some because they got to get things done, they got to get back to work, and they're like, I want to put something out to you,
Sure.
not just to you directly, from two perspectives. One, this notion that between, say, nowish, right, so anywhere between the 23rd, thereabouts, right, so Christmas Eve, the day before, and the second, third, or fourth day into the new year, right, somewhere that you have sort of a national go-slow. So I was listening to, I don't know if it's a podcast or what it was, but some preamble by someone somewhat of notoriety in another part of the world where there's seemed to be some weight and respect. And he was saying something similar. So this person was just letting me listen to this bit. And the guy shared that, this time of the year, not much gets done anyway. Words to that effect. Not as eloquent as that.
Depends on the industry, but fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough, right? And then he went on to say that so many people want to be able to take time off and relax, and yet there are expectations that people in the hospitality sector, for instance, the demands on the health services, the sort of emergency service, the police, the fire, increases because there are more people out, being rushed and not so on.
Of course.
And his contention would be that if we had in that time the opportunity to make it more festive, everybody can spend some time to relax. So the fellow who was sharing with me, a few years my senior, says he recalls a time where in Cayman anyway, I don't know what it was, there would be he says skeletal staff within the offices. So whether it was the banks, the insurance companies, the law firms, the financial services, and people were festive, they were enjoying themselves. Coming the new year, they were working extremely hard. A national go slow, you think? Should that be the next petition?
A tricky one. It's I'm struggling with my words here. It's the scenario where after Pirates Week here in Cayman, we know that traffic on the roads increase. It's the last hurrah, so to speak, for consumerism. It's the daytime shopping is the busy one. I mean, every day becomes like a Saturday on the roads, where we see the road traffic on bypass 7 Mile
everywhere. Huh?
Everywhere, just quadruples on Saturdays. And during this last 6 to 7 weeks of the year, the same thing happens during the week. I just got in a few minutes ago from a client, and the roads were absolutely jam packed trying to get back here. It's just the nature of the beast. Would it be nice to see traffic decrease? Sure. Is there a counterbalance to seeing traffic decrease? Sure. Businesses will see a drop in revenue, so all those small businesses that are reliant upon this time of year shopping, they will see a significant drop. The restaurants who are accustomed to increased traffic this time of year, they will see a drop off in business, and that is the vicious catch-22 of national break.
But okay, we're going to take a call, but
sure.
The question is, if everybody is, sort of a little bit more time on their hands, would we see, more festivity and more consumerism? Let's pick up this caller.
Good.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Yeah, Mr. Dwayne.
Hey, good afternoon.
Mr. Dwayne.
Yeah, how are you, my friend?
All right, man. Yeah, just give me 1 minute. I'll call you back.
Okay, man. If you got corn turtle, then that's fine. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Go right ahead, man. Go right ahead. Is there a break in the weekend, Mr. Fox?
I'm chasing a rooster.
You're chasing it? Boy, I prefer chase hens, but anyway. Right.
This might be the winner for the best call I've heard ever.
All right, so you call us back, all right?
No, man. Hold on. Why the businesses, right, can't employ or get a bus driver to pick everybody up for the business? That's why I want to know. Why they got all that money and they can't spend that to keep so much cars off the road?
So you mean like if a company has a number of employees, I want to make sure I'm not misunderstanding you. Like how some schools will do.
Yeah. You
go around. So this company has a company van, bus, what have you, and it goes around and collects its employees and brings them to work.
Right.
Who pays for that?
Who pays for that? The company?
Okay, so as an employee then, do you pay $1 a trip, $2 a trip, back and forth?
I don't have no problem with that.
All right. Might be some merit to it. Less congestion, so increase movement of people. There's one more person employed, perhaps. Maybe it's one of the employees who has the company van to come pick up the staff.
Yeah, but you work in a tax haven, so you got enough. You got enough to do that.
All right. All right. You got to go.
No, I call you right later.
You go ahead, man. You chase it up. All right. Let's pause. The question I want to put on the table, though. The caller prior to this gentleman was, talking about, traffic and so on. And many people have said about we could carpool. I've heard a number of people saying that one of the impediments to carpooling is that our mindset here in this part of the world is that we like the independence of having our own, vehicle. We don't like carpooling because then we all have to be in this together and we have to move together. All right, I can't get up and go when I want. Let's talk about that. Carpooling, mass transit, and the like.
It's an interesting one. So in parts of the U.S. and parts of North America, they have what's called high-occupancy vehicle lanes.
Right.
The HOV lanes that are designed for carpooling purposes. That was the incentive. They realized back in the day that you couldn't force people to carpool, but you could incentivize it by making it a scenario where you will get to work faster because we will make a whole lane just for you on our major highways. But in the West, we tend to be a very independent society. Individual growth is how we tend to view everything, and competition becomes that scenario. Yeah.
It's interesting, that HOV is two people in the car or more. Two
out of 5 seats that are minimum 5 seats that are in a regular economy car.
Two.
But it was designed. It was a start. It was designed to encourage that, and I think there's actually a lot of merit to something like that in regions like the Caribbean. Where you don't have the multitude of highways. You have a lot of the single-lane road or dual-lane roads, which causes backlog of traffic. And when you have jurisdictions like Cayman, it has such a high number of vehicles, whether you find ways of encouraging carpooling, or you look at the Bermuda scenario of, you say, make scooters become the norm by way of legislation. There's ways to encourage it, but it requires changing the mindset. It requires some creativity. Perhaps that last caller has some merit to the suggestion that companies take a more proactive approach in it. I can't see requiring that scenario, but making it an option. I'm sure people will find value in that. All right.
When we come back, let's talk about that in relation to potential population explosion.
Sure.
949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. That other voice you hear, is the handsome face of Raymond Singh. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
I didn't mean to hurt her. Work was tough. We're struggling financially. I had a few drinks to relax, but then the argument started. It was a mistake to hit her. Now I don't have a job. I don't have a wife. I can't afford to feed my family. This was a hard lesson to learn. Never forget that walking away from something unhealthy is brave. Stop to slap. Stop to cycle. Stop the violence.
The Stop the Slap campaign, proudly sponsored by Foster's IGA. Stop the slap. Stop the cycle. Stop the violence.
Who's the leader in savings?
It's Foster's.
This holiday season, taste Christmas with Foster's IGA.
Try a new recipe. Incorporate a new flavor into your Christmas feasts. Bake with a new ingredient. Whatever you decide, make the most of time with family and friends and celebrate the holidays.
Visit fosters-iga.com or Foster's IGA on Facebook for taste Christmas inspiration, recipes, and more to make the most of flavors Christmas has to offer.
At Foster's Food Fair IGA, we care.
Back by popular demand, the Desk Cycle Half Price Sale. Yes, for a limited time only. Get your Desk Cycle for only CI $125. Keep fit, lose weight, stay healthy with the Desk Cycle Pedal Exerciser. Call 326-3726 or email deskcyclecayman@gmail.com. The Desk Cycle allows you to get healthy exercise while sitting at your desk, watching TV, or using your phone. You can be losing weight while reading a book, playing video games, or any other time time when you are sitting and your legs are free. Join millions around the world who are loving their desk cycle, one of the highest rated items on Amazon with over 2,000 testimonials. The desk cycle has been featured on the Hallmark Channel, The Today Show on NBC, ABC, BBC News, CNBC, and many more. Get your desk cycle today for only CI $125. Call 326-3726 or email deskcyclecayman@gmail.com. For more information, visit deskcyclecayman.com or like our Facebook page.
Stay connected and share your favorite holiday moments with Flow. Pick up the Alcatel A1 from $70 or the Samsung J2 Pro, packed with sweet features from $130. Every week you can win cash and prizes in our cash cube when you top up. Also check out our weekly top-up specials. Visit Flow's Facebook and Instagram pages to follow the deals. Plus, top up $25 or more for plenty chances to win great Flow holiday prizes. So make it Flow for everything mobile this Christmas. Visit discoverflow.ky for more. Terms and conditions apply.
This Health Flash is brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Over 65 million people around the world have moderate or severe COPD, a family of diseases that includes emphysema and chronic bronchitis. Cleveland Clinic, Florida offers a wide range of management and treatment options for COPD, including programs focused on education, medication, smoking cessation, and pulmonary rehabilitation. A team of experts is ready to review your symptoms and test results to develop a comprehensive treatment plan. For more information, visit clevelandclinicflorida.org.
On Thursday at 7 p.m., you can hear a repeat broadcast of CI Retro's Talk Today special presentation, Cayman Islands Christmas Remembered, when we take a look back at Cayman Islands Christmas celebrations and traditions through the years, going back some 150 years to present day. This special CI Retro Talk Today presentation is being brought to you by Four Winds Esso, Cayman Enterprise City, pioneering a new type of special economic zones in the Cayman Islands, focused on technology and innovation. FSH Designs. Let your imagination grow with FSH Designs Limited. Visit fshdesigns.com today. Eats Cafe, Legends, and Yoshi Sushi, located in the Fall Center on the West Bay Road, across from the Westin. And by Puritan Cleaners, celebrating 60 years of excellent service to the Cayman Islands community. And to you from all of our fine sponsors, all the best for the Christmas season and into the new year. Remember, Thursday, 7 p.m., CI Retro Talk Today's special Christmas presentation, Cayman Islands Christmas Remembered, looking back at Christmas over the last 150 years on Radio Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. In the studio, Raymond Singh joins me. It is open line, 1 o'clock. Looking forward to the company. For the regular time in his schedule. Welcome to sit in. Dr. Shari Smith comes in. We can talk about scholarships, in particular the overseas scholarships. If we can get our people educated, not just because they got a piece of paper, because I think that's a whole different conversation, but we get to that at some point.
That's a fun conversation. That's always one I want to engage in.
Oh, I believe him. I like the idea that we pursue knowledge, we share knowledge. You know, it could be you just discovered a new recipe or a new way of adding something to, a proven recipe and you made it better. Or you changed it completely and it's not as good. But you share that. People learn from it, right?
That's how cultures get formed, yeah. The passing down of information, right? And that becomes how you develop your culture and your education.
Let me ask of you, and when I say of you directly, but equally the listening audience, sure. There's no question that we've probably seen an increase in traffic on the roads, yes. Right? And we're going to see the policing initiatives to try to make it safer. So hopefully serve to discourage anyone who may be inclined to drink and drive, right? In the process, maybe they'll raise some other additional revenues and the like. But there are going to be people who are going to be inconvenienced. Hopefully, as PC Power shared yesterday, people will exercise a little bit of courtesy, a little bit of patience, and, navigate the roads as safe as possible. But two things. The increase in population and the traffic congestion, the amount of roads. Some have shared, we need to kind of limit. Some have shared we need to look more closely at part of the infrastructure development with respect to a proper, organized, well-run, public transport system, right?
Absolutely.
Some will share that what we have now really isn't anything. It's just a good lucrative business for some who are able to, and for others, but there are those who are cheating the system because they're not following the routes. There's no enforcement. That and the potential, or it would seem the probable increase in our population as a result of the passage of the financial legislation for exempting companies. What do you think of that? I mean, people keep asking what is the population, and we heard numbers that we're looking at 120, 160. Who knows where it's going to go in short order? What do you think?
Well, population is one of the things that constantly grows. No matter where you are in the world, populations go up. Now, Cayman obviously has a scenario where it's not growing by natural births only. It's growing by an influx of foreign workers because the industry is kind of calling for it at times. When it comes to traffic, though, on the traffic side of it, there's a multi-pronged approach that I think needs to be addressed. Not only, and we tend to always look at government and say, well, government should do this, or government should do that, or government can do this, and we tend to forget the personal responsibility that comes along with that. And we're talking about carpooling before.
Right.
I tend to be very big on personal responsibility before I ever point the finger at government or what someone else is not doing. I like to look at it from the standpoint of what have I not yet actually done to address this problem. And we tend to try to, unfortunately, the attitude of keeping up with the Joneses tends to win out over personal responsibility. Well, they're not carpooling, so why should I have to carpool? And that kind of pass the buck attitude of not wanting to improve because your neighbor hasn't improved is, I think, what leads to a lot of the social problems we see. But when it comes to traffic, I think incentivizing the carpool scenario, whether from firms doing it, encouraging the carpool scenario within their workplace, is one avenue I think that has not really been explored very thoroughly and that can be actually explored. I've heard a lot of talk in the past from the bicycling community of the dangers of riding their bikes on the road, that people tend not to respect the bikers and bicyclists as much. And now we're seeing the increase in the bicycle lanes, which is fantastic, but it's not fully yet widespread. So unfortunately, that's not, unfortunately, at the moment, not the most practical way. Could you do it via legislation and reducing the number of cars? Sure. What you're doing in the process, though, is also taking a hit at the car industry, insurance industry, and anybody whose industry is derived from motor vehicles. So you have to look at it from the approach of personal responsibility, I think, first. Making the incentive to yourself to say, listen, me and my neighbor are both driving into town. We work 3 blocks away from town. We live 2 feet away from each other. Let's make the carpool. We hear about neighborhood washes, but we don't hear about neighborhood carpools.
But even so, right? I mean, not even the neighbor. Sometimes it's just within the household.
Absolutely.
The spouses or the offspring, they're all leaving around about the same time, going sometimes in the same building or the building next door, and yet multiple vehicles are leaving the household. So that sense of responsibility. But then how do we incentivize people? On one hand, I think the economics, as you pointed out, if you limit and restrict cars, then the automotive sort of dealers and the other people, including the banks who finance the purchases, may say, well, you're affecting our bottom line.
Correct.
But is that a trade-off for the greater good? Less money for governments to have to find to not only construct but maintain roads, perhaps healthier societies because people are not always and solely and exclusively moving by way of their vehicles?
It's always tough to. I think it's always tough unless you want to start changing how society operates. Unless you're saying you want to get rid of capitalism and get rid of the edge of competition and how society functions, I think it's very difficult to try to impose restrictions that are going to impact.
But
the
would
businesses
that do that? Sorry, would that do that? I mean, if you were to. You get a good conversation with someone, you got to take a break. 2 seconds, Mr. Fox. All right, the question is, if we were to, as a government, whether here or elsewhere, adopt a policy, or as a country, move towards an ethos that says, okay, we don't want as many cars on our roads because of the cost, the pollution, and the actual physical expenditure of building and maintaining the roads and all those things. Would that be an affront to capitalism?
Yeah, it would take a direct hit on how we do business. Transportation is one of the primary factors of any society, is how transportation actually operates. Communication channels, energy channels, and transportation channels. When you start putting restrictions and impositions on how one of the major pillars of how society actually operates, which is your transportation medium, operates, I think we start putting restrictions, incentivizing. It's the whole whip versus the carrot scenario. I think putting the carrot in front of people instead of putting the whip, I think the whip will do more damage in the long term when you start changing how certain businesses operate. You're talking about cars, banks, insurance. Those are three sizable entities.
Mr. Fox, call. Let's go to the phone. He's in charge. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. You want to talk today?
Hi, good afternoon, Stanley. How are you?
Excellent. How about you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you, and good afternoon to your guest. I'm just
good afternoon.
And I'm hearing your topic, and I think it's a wonderful topic. I don't know if you guys have touched on busing, that sort of thing, but I think our public transportation system needs a huge overhaul. But another major thing that I think really needs to be explored is that there's a significant difference in traffic when the private schools are in session versus when they're not in session. We don't see as much traffic when the public schools are in session. And I think that's due to the fact that a majority of children who attend public schools are also bused into the school system. And so one of the things that I think should be on the table is whether all school children should be bused to school or have that as an option. Because the traffic, particularly in that Walker's Road and Smith Road area where there's a large number of private schools, the traffic is just really hard in the mornings when those schools are in session. And all of those children are being dropped to school in private cars. So I think an easy fix in terms of the traffic situation is to really look at personal responsibility, like your guest is saying, but to put that onus on the school systems and say both private and public school systems should have that opportunity to bus their children to school. It puts a huge dent in the traffic that we experience on a daily basis, and then we can now start to look at, okay, we've mitigated some of the traffic that's associated with the school pickups and drop-offs. Now let's look at carpooling. Let's look at overhauling our public bus system and ensuring that there's an actual system in place where every 30 minutes there's a bus going by, because there's many people like myself who would love to take a bus or love to carpool. However, with the hours that I work and with the unsustainable and irregular bus times, I cannot use that as an option to attend work. You know, and so there's a lot of people who come where they either come from countries where you don't even own vehicles, or public transportation is how you get around. And then you have migrants like myself who've lived in countries or lived in cities where you have gotten used to a public transportation system, subways, bus, carpools, whatever. And so those are not unfamiliar systems to us and not unsustainable to us to say, you know, when I just use my car on the weekends or to go grocery shopping, if I'm just going to work and coming home, I'm using a bus system. So I think it's definitely a conversation that's very relevant and something that we need to be pushing our legislators to look at in more detail and to really think outside of the box.
Right. What do you
the cars is only going to do one. It's just going to be a temporary band-aid. And we have limited land space.
Right.
We cannot pave our way out of traffic problems. We just can't.
What do you think of, a caller earlier suggested that businesses have like a bus system for their employees, similar to how the schools, do for their students. What do you think of that?
I think that's also a great idea. Health City actually does that for their employees that live in the Town and Savannah area. They do provide a bus system that drops them. They do morning pickups and they do evening pickups. So when people are coming on shift and going off shift, they have an opportunity to use a bus to go to work. And I think it's something that companies should look at. But again, you can't impose a private company to do those things. But it's definitely something that could be looked at to say, hey, these are like some satellite parking spots. I mean, I know when I did residencies overseas, where they had satellite parking for staff. So the staff, for example, would park in, say, something the equivalent of Red Bay area, that a satellite parking spot. And every 10 minutes, there's a bus service that just buses you from that satellite parking spot to your place of employment. You stand there, you wait for the shuttle, and, it's every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes. So there really wasn't a big, huge imposition on But again, there was regular shuttles provided, so it wasn't a huge issue because, you knew in 10 minutes or 15 minutes you would get picked up and dropped off to your vehicle.
But do you think, and this is not meant to be a slight on our legislators nor civil servants, but as a society even, do you think we're ready for that discussion? Do you think we have, with it, now the opportunity to say?
I think we need to remember that when we have single-member constituencies, which is the model that we have now, that we know directly who our legislators are, and we know exactly who is responsible for our jurisdiction, who is responsible for our district area or our voting area, and we know exactly who's responsible for the issues in that area, and we need to hold them accountable. We still are of this mindset that there's just like this group of people and they're unaccountable, and we just have to trust them to do what we need them to do. But we as people need to push the agenda and push the priorities of what we need. And what we're seeing now is consecutive governments who are very much focused on the economy. They're focused on making sure that this is a conducive environment for businesses, but what they're not taking the time is to look at how quality of life is for our local people. And what we need to be doing is pushing our legislators to say, hey, listen, yes, it's great to have a thriving economy, but if as a resident, whether you're Caymanian or non-Caymanian, if as a resident, my quality of life has been impeded because I have to pay so much for car insurance, I have to pay so much for gas, I'm having to be in traffic for 2 hours a day. Like, all of those are huge things that impact the overall quality of life. And we need to let our legislators know that, hey, we're not just looking at how good Cayman looks on paper, but how is it to live here? And those are quality of life things that we need to hold our legislators accountable for.
So true, man. And people like you, with not just the experience and the insight, but the willingness to share, can help us to shape that agenda. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you and your family and to your guests. Have a good one.
You too.
You too.
And call us that. They encourage and they inspire. And hopefully people listening, the legislators as well as the wider populace, will start to figure out how we can do it. I see Mr. Fox doing, trying to ignore him, but
he's not as pretty as Susan Watson, but he's just as forceful, isn't he?
I don't know, man. He's almost as intimidating, huh?
Yeah.
So we have to take a break now, Mr. Fox. All right, we have to take a break. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
I didn't mean to hurt her. Work was tough. We're struggling financially. I had a few drinks to relax, but then the argument started. It was a mistake to hit her. Now I don't have a job. I don't have a wife. I can't afford to feed my family. This was a hard lesson to learn. Never forget that walking away from something unhealthy is brave. Stop to slap. Stop to cycle. Stop the violence.
The Stop the Slap campaign has been proudly sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Stop the slap. Stop the cycle. Stop the violence.
I need a bank that is convenient for me.
What do you mean?
I need a bank that has easy to find locations and plenty ATMs when I need cash on the go.
Oh, well, that's easy. You need to bank with Cayman National. They have 7 customer service centers and 23 ATM locations. The newest one is at the East End Post Office, and I hear there's more to come.
Well, sounds like I need to bank with Cayman National Bank, the convenient bank, because they seem to be everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Cayman National is everywhere. Surely they are Cayman's convenient bank.
Cayman National Bank. We're here for you.
It's big. It's a blowout sale. Get your last-minute Christmas shopping done with the 8 to 8 sale at Roro Variety. Roro Variety Store, Wednesday, December 19th. Everything from luggage, knapsacks, men's and women's big size shoes up to size 12. Household items, bathroom accessories, towels, clocks, and teen handbags. Roro Variety blowout sale, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Wednesday, December 19th. It's big. It's a blowout sale. Roro Variety Store, Tropical Plaza, Smith Road. Telephone 924-9553.
It's Christmas fun for all with the Flow Quad Play bundle for a year and weekly draws for Samsung soundbars. To win, sign up for any Flow service, including our new Quad Play bundle. Top up $25 or more, or pay your bill on time and in full. Our Quad Play bundle is filled with the fastest broadband, HD quality Flow Evo TV, excellent mobile call quality, and home phone with up to 2,800 international minutes. With over $40,000 in prizes, that's fun for all with Flow. Visit discoverflow.ky for more. Terms and conditions apply.
I am worried about my employees' health insurance. Are there any companies out there that I can rely on for great coverage, affordable payments, and who will work to make the switch as easy as possible? Or am I asking for too much?
You sound like you need Fidelity Health. At Fidelity, they offer great coverage through a highly rated and trusted carrier, payments I can afford, and with no on-island deductible on all the plans they offer. Best of all, they offered my company 50% back on the first month's premium.
This is too important. Today's the day I am switching to Fidelity Health.
Make the easy switch to Fidelity today and get 50% cash back on your first month's premium until December 31st. Call 949-7822 to make your switch now.
South Coast Bar and Grill up in Breakers, man, that is the place. For traditional Cayman cuisine, oh, you will love the taste. At South Coast Bar and Grill, we got conch and lobster and turtle stew. And every Sunday, come out with your family for the barbecue.
South Coast Bar and Grill by the seaside, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, lunch and dinner. Call us at 947-2517.
For Cayman and cuisine, the talk today is South Coast Bar and Grill.
I'm April Cummings from Radio Cayman's newsroom. So for my family, Christmas is always a time for us to remember, to share, to laugh, tell stories, and to give thanks. My wish for you this holiday season is that you'll take the time to enjoy your loved ones and really focus on the spirit of love and Thanksgiving. Have a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year from my family to yours.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
A multi-agency intelligence effort on Cayman Brac yielded drugs and an arrest. Early Tuesday morning, the team searched a home and recovered several ounces of what appeared to be cocaine and ganja. A 57-year-old Cayman Brac man is under arrest and is now in custody on Grand Cayman. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. The White House has confirmed U.S. troops are being withdrawn from Syria after U.S. President Donald Trump says the Islamic State group had been defeated there. Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said the U.S. troops had already begun to return home. Some 2,000 troops have helped rid much of northeastern Syria of the Islamic State, but pockets of fighters remain. Canada has confirmed a third Canadian citizen has been detained in China. Canadian officials offered no further information on the individual detained, citing privacy laws. The news comes amid a growing dispute between both countries following the arrest of a senior Chinese telecom executive in Canada earlier this month. And South African prosecutors have issued an arrest warrant for Zimbabwe's ex-First Lady, Grace Mugabe, for allegedly assaulting a model in 2017. The move comes after a court annulled her diplomatic immunity in July. Gabriela Angels accused Mrs. Mugabe of beating the hell out of her with an electric extension cord in a hotel room in Johannesburg. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. And it's a pleasure to be able to welcome to the studio Dr. Shari Smith. in her capacity as senior policy advisor and the manager of the scholarship secretariat.
Hello.
Acting.
Yes, acting.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
Always a pleasure to welcome people like yourselves to our studio, and especially when we're talking about education. And hopefully, as parents, being able to navigate the waters to get our children, on their paths to tertiary education. So
Definitely.
very important, even this time of year.
Exactly. What else? Something else to add to your list to do.
But it is, it's important because I know many parents have gone through this with their children. Many children, or students I should say, have sort of almost independently been on this process for a while. And not to get into it a whole lot, but one parent just last evening was calling and trying to arrange something. I think this is child 3 or child 4. I'm not quite sure how that works. I should know, so I do apologize. But 2 or 3 prior have gone through this process, and they've been to intervening years. So this 3rd or 4th child now is getting ready to go through the process. And I'm thinking, each time you're doing the same thing, you fill out applications, the child's writing the letters of application and all those things, but you seem to forget. You seem to have the same level of trepidation.
Yep, and it changes a little bit each time as well. Because
so
time
it does,
changes.
Huh?
Yes, it does. It does. Yeah. Which is why it's important that persons actually start the process. So the overseas application process has opened for government scholarships, and it's open until January 31st. And it's not just for first-time students, so it's not just for persons who are pursuing their bachelor's, but persons who are looking at doing their master's or their PhD or another doctoral program. That is also the period of time that is open for them to apply as well.
Okay. Today, if I look at the calendar, is the 19th of December.
Yes.
We're going to have some holidays. There are going to be some festivities.
Yes.
All right. And then New Year kicks in, and then end of January.
End of January
is when this overseas application process closes.
It closes off on the 31st, yeah.
Doesn't seem like a lot of time.
No, but we've been open since mid-November is when it commenced. Everything is online, so it's actually a 5-stage process that the applicant goes through. And it's quite very simple in the sense that, all the steps are there. There's guidance notes and everything on the website. What we're trying to encourage people to do is start the process, because there are some things that take time to get, such as your reference letters and your character letters. There's a medical that's required, but the system is set up that if you haven't completed your medical by the time you've completed stage 1, it will still allow you to go on to the next stage. But there's some items like, for example, the right to be Caymanian. That is something that,
You had to sit down.
Oh, yes. We won't go into how I feel about that, but
when you let me know.
But those documents also have to be provided. Now, we have made it a bit easier, whereas the student can upload the copy of the parent who's Caymanian birth certificate if they don't have that letter from immigration, right? So that's a little bit easier, but anyway, yes. And then the other item that is new to the process this year is Education Council has implemented means testing. So that means that the student will need to have a conversation with their parents and get information from their parents. So it's required in terms of a job letter with salary indication. And then I think it's the total income, combined income, and total combined assets. Now, because we are in the Caribbean and things get complicated, this student also needs to ensure that if they're in a home where the mother and the father are together, then it's both parents. If the child comes from a more diversified family, so mom and dad divorced, and now mom is remarried and dad is remarried, they will need 4 documents, so one for each one of those parents. So both parents, and then
Not their biological parents only now,
but their step parents, because remember, it's combined income, right?
Wow.
So a bit more information for to be collected. But the thing is that the parents, there's actually a spreadsheet online, and the parents put in their information. So really, what all you're sending us is the total combined information, and we know that people are, in terms of confidentiality, and we've already found some questions in terms of privacy. You can, if you have a concern like that, parents can actually contact the scholarship office directly, and they can bring the documents in, and we can upload them directly to that student's file, and nobody else would have access to that information.
Okay. All right. Now, I do recognize that you guys have been very, very diligent in trying to get this information out. I know that you shared there's an information session coming up.
Yeah.
I also understand that people are out and about, and as much as they may want to pay attention now, they can't because of obligations.
Right.
They may be paying attention, but only half-heartedly.
Right.
So I appreciate this time, and make a note. Was it in January?
It closes in
the 31st.
31st of January at whatever 12:01 p.m. Right. So there's ample time to get through it. I am playing several roles in this process, one in terms of my job, but I also have a child who is of age to be able to apply and who's going off later this year, hopefully. But interestingly, I have had no role to play. She's taken on the task, and she's doing all the stuff that she has to do, which is really important, because this is an important process for the students. Yeah. They're getting talking, this is when they're considering going off to university, a whole new world. They're going to be independent. Mommy and daddy are not necessarily going to be there.
Can I ask you about that?
Sure.
I don't normally discuss me. I believe that as parents, we have to make our children as safe and secure.
Right.
But we also need to allow them to be as independent and make decisions. Not always, decision that you would probably want them to make. But in this process, two things. If I'm off base, you let me know. I think, as you just shared, it's important that you let the child drive this as much as possible.
Right.
But also, I just want to make sure, because it's probably me, I like to be involved.
Yes.
I want to know. I'm not going to micromanage, but I want to know.
Yes.
So, as the parent, is there a role for the parent? If the parent wants to know what's going on, I want to check in. I want to make sure, little Susie's doing this thing, but I could be paying for this too. I want to make sure that, because things can happen and the child is still a child.
Yeah.
So what sort of information, what sort of role, what sort of expectation of the parent?
Well, in terms of the parents, obviously, the financial aspect, but keeping track and making sure your child is staying on those timelines is really important. Parents can go up on the website. You can see all the documents that they're required to get and have, and so providing them support in that case and in that instance. Also helping them talk through what it is that they want to do and where they want to go. One of the things that I've been encouraging the parents and students to do when I've gone out to the various schools is, if they have an opportunity to actually visit some of the campuses, to go. As a parent, I took my daughter in the summer, and it was important for me to feel what it felt like on that campus, so that I knew she was going to be safe. I know that not all parents have that ability, but do your research, make sure, that it is a safe campus. Make sure that the program that they're going to be studying is a valid program. You don't want to start off, because when you're awarding a scholarship, it's for a period of time, right? And we don't want students starting off in one school and then you get there. Kind of like what happened to me when I went off years and years and years ago.
She stresses that.
Yes, years and years ago. I applied to a university that was had a teaching program. I went off, and it wasn't until I actually got to the university. Of course, we didn't have all the internet stuff and access we have nowadays, right? But when I got there and I started doing my research, I found out that I actually didn't go into the classroom until the last semester of my senior year. That was not okay with me. And so it meant then I had to change my plan. And so I then ended up transferring down to Barry University after my first year. But I had only been awarded 4 years of, to cover 4 years scholarship. So I'd already used up 1. So then I had to figure out, how do I complete my degree still in the remaining 3 years? So it's having those conversations. Talking about budgeting is definitely something, because they will have to budget. Also, not just looking at the first year, but the years to come after that. There are criteria. So there's a GPA requirement for the first year, and then it increases after the second year. If a student falls below that, they would be placed on probation, right? If they don't bring up their GPA, then what happens? And so contingencies like that are honest conversations that parents need to be happening with their children. Because, you get caught up in I'm applying to this place and it looks like a really cool place to go to. But then at the end of the day, the Cayman Islands government is investing in our human resources. So one, we require once you complete, you're required to come back home. You won't be working for government, but you have to give back to the community. And so you're required. So they need to understand that. And they also need to understand that, we want you to go overseas. Part of the university and going overseas is the whole experience. So getting to experience, the life of being an independent person and stuff. But you're also there to study. And so you have to be able to balance that. So having those really key conversations. The other thing that I know that people, that some of the ladies who have been in scholarship office a lot longer than I have talked about is programs that the child actually wants to do. Sometimes as parents, we want to live through our children, right? But it has to be their choice. It has to be what they are going to be driven. My dad always said to me, if you do something that you enjoy and you love doing, then you never go to work, right?
So true, man. And as I listen, we're speaking to Dr. Shari Smith, and we're talking about overseas scholarships. She's the manager at the Scholarship Secretariat. With that, though, Dr. Shari, when we look at the scholarships, yes, it is exciting. It is also, for some very daunting. They get intimidated by this process because you have to do a lot, and it can be frustrating to an extent.
Right.
Once we go into that, a couple of things. You shared that you're required, to come back to work in Cayman, not necessarily for the government. Is that, I use the word bond, is that commitment equivalent to the number of years of your scholarship? So if you get 4, you got to work 4. If you get 2, or is it 1 for 2, 2 for 5? What's the deal?
It's for the amount of time that you've been sponsored. So if government sponsored you for 3 years, then it would be for a period of 3 years.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So it's for the time period. I just totally lost my train of thought there.
Yeah, that's right. And then the other part, I look at the child the student who's 18.
Right.
Yes, that's the legal age of majority.
Right.
We know that they can still be eligible under their parents. So how does that play? So you got the 18, 19-year-old,
right?
Maybe even the 20-year-old who spent some time here at UCCI, for instance, and now is going overseas. Does that come into play in a different criteria? It
does, actually. This year, Council has also made a change where in the past, all scholarship bonds required a surety, right? So for whatever the amount that government was committing. And right now, government it's up to 20,000 Cayman per annum for undergraduates, and postgraduate is 25. Students who are now 18 and above will actually be signing their own documents in terms of being their own surety. So if I'm an 18-year-old and I go off to university and it's not what I want to do, or I party, or I decide I'm quitting, when I, return, my parents are not going to be the persons held responsible for paying back what funds. Because, if they had to, government does have legal right to request those fundings back, right? It would be the student. So it places a level of responsibility, which is important, because then they're reminded that, okay, this is a contract that I have with this entity. And so I have to be responsible. I'm liable to go to classes. I'm liable to make the grades.
Right.
If they're under 18 years, because you can apply for a scholarship at the age of 17, they would require that surety. And then when they turn 18, then it would turn over to the student themselves.
Okay. So once they reach a majority, then the parents are no longer required to provide a surety. Are other sureties required, or just the student?
Just the student.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's a sign of maturity and responsibility. And again, I think having the student engage in the process. Now, if parents are like me, they want to be aware, hey, send me an email too, because at the end of the day, I want to know.
Right.
And I say that there's a lady that I respect greatly as an educator. She said, first child went to school, and different era, didn't have the technology.
Right.
Just made sure the child was safe and at least had something to eat.
Right.
The books were paid for and all the other things. Never really got involved with the child.
Right.
And by the time, subsequent siblings went along, was much more involved and found that the process was easier. You knew when the child was sitting in the exam. You knew when there were particular stresses. And so for that, I think it's important as a parent to be involved, but not so involved that you sit in the exam and believe that you study. Not doing that. I don't think I want to do it when I was there. Nope. Not doing that. That's not what we're talking about, being involved.
Yeah. I mean, it's a partnership. It's a partnership between the Education Council, who is the representative for the Cayman Islands government, that student, and that parent. Because one of the things we're constantly telling our students is life happens. You're off in university and life can happen. And it can have an impact on your performance. The Scholarship Secretariat is, I think in terms of requires, but we always say to students, keep in contact with us. Let us know what's going on, because then we can give you guidance in terms of, okay, all universities nowadays have student services options, right, or agencies. So you can get access to counseling and tutoring, and, if you have a learning challenge, there's a multitude of resources out there. Let us know what's happening so that when it comes to the end of each term, you are required to submit your grades. You are required to submit receipts for certain, large items and stuff, so we can track that you actually used the $10,000 towards school. But if we know ahead of time, then we can, again, provide you with assistance. We've had situations where a student may have lost a family member in the midst of their semester. That takes a huge impact on their performance, right? But because we know that and they communicate that with us, then we can also prepare that, the results may not be what they expected. And then we can say, well, okay, what you need to do is you need to go to your counselor. You need to, get documentation that you're seeing someone to help you through this process. And then, it's extenuating circumstances, right? So we do take that into consideration. But communication is key. If we don't know, we can't help.
Yeah,
right?
keep in touch. And it does help. Now, with that, you've taken, say, $20,000 for the undergraduate semester 1 and half, and then the balance in semester 2.
Right.
Normally, payout and timelines, are there particular criteria, deadlines, things that you need from the school? How are the funds sent? Is it a draft given to students to take? Is it a wire transfer? Or does
How's it stop?
Yeah, I mean,
well, it depends on the bank where the students' accounts are. We have some banks that we can actually, once the student submits their grades and the receipts requirements that they have to, then we are able to then release the, send notification for those funds to be released. In some cases, depending on the account, the funding is sent straight into the student's bank account, or it can be collected by a parent if it needs to go somewhere else. So again, it comes back to communication.
So you can go to the student account here or wherever the bank is, the parent, or to the school directly, or no?
Usually we don't send directly to the schools. I know that in a case in terms of like an SEN situation, we do have a funding for SEN, and that draft would be specifically to the school, but the parents would collect it, or the student would collect it. Yeah,
fair enough. We are speaking to Dr. Shari Smith, and I understand. I say this respectfully that you're saying, "Well, why you have this conversation?" No, I mean it's Christmas. Yeah. That's why we have this conversation.
Yeah, they're on holiday for 2 weeks. They can get it done.
Yeah, and I don't know that it's a difficult process. It's involved. There are things you need to do. There's steps and stages.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's I know, I saw your name on the
That's not my name.
But if there's problems, then, I mean, the Scholarship Secretariat, we're actually going to be working the entire Christmas, except for the public holidays. And so if they run into problems, they can call, the ladies will walk them through it.
Can I say this as a parent, and you guide me, right? Partly speaking to parents, your children can do this. It doesn't matter how smart you think she is, or you think he isn't, whatever. They can do it. You can be there supporting them, but they actually understand how to navigate this portal quite easily.
Yeah.
There are things that they're going to need from you as a parent, the banking stuff, and they're going to ask a question about what is this.
Right.
But I was pleased to see how independent they can navigate these things, and how they talk amongst themselves.
Right.
So there's a bunch of them who are graduating who are doing this process, and they're sharing information. It's just, that's what I'm finding. It's quite easy.
Yeah.
Well, and you guys are helpful.
We try to be. One of the things I do want to touch on is the degree plan. So when students are looking at the universities, most universities, if not all, can provide you with a degree plan, which is basically the overall timeline setup of what classes you're going to be taking, how many you have to be taking, and so forth. You need to be able to have that, and you need to submit that as well. And it also, again, helps in that conversation with, as a family, saying, okay, if we know that, Dwayne's going to be away for 4 years, these are the things that he's going to, be covering. Oh, we realize that there are actually 2 summers that Dwayne's going to have to do classes, but your scholarship will only cover 1 summer semester. So what are we going to do as a family to be able to find support funding for that and stuff, so.
I mean, when you said that, I harken back to when I actually did it, and it was great. Now, I had a great academic advisor in university. I remember her name more than I remember some of the other professors.
Right.
She was incredible, and I think she spoke my language, because I liked to know in year 6, what class was being offered, and she was like, I don't know what class is being offered next semester. But that was the idea, and you plan it, and I think, I call it a catalog. So you got a little thing when you admitted, and you could map it out. And it didn't work always like that, but you knew where you were, and you knew semesters came and went. So doing that then would help student as well as family.
Yes, and it's actually one of the items that you have to upload on your application, so that we can see that the classes that you're taking are in line with the degree pursuit that you're going with as well.
All right. Dr. Sharia, as we were asking, that student who just recently graduated, or even who is, say, at UCCI and is now going overseas for the last year or 2, versus the student who is, let's say, the mature student, who's been out of school for a while, isn't 18 or 19 or 20, but is 35 or 40 or 50, whatever the case is.
Right.
Different, or is it the same process? You're applying for an undergraduate, it doesn't matter your age?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
It's the same process, same application. Previously, if you've done the application previously, it was a lot of pages that you had to print off. We've actually gotten it down to 1 page that you print off and sign. So, yeah. I went through it before too,
Yes.
So that is definitely a plus. But mature students who are looking at doing their master's or, doctorate or, another tertiary,
something else,
post-grad degree. It's the same application form. The initial and stage 1, actually there's I think a survey in the beginning that actually directs you to what scholarship you would be applying for, or what options you have. So once they do that, then that will lead them into that area.
All right. I wrote it down somewhere, but I'll ask you in case you remember off. The website is, we're going to tell you so you can look through it. There are notes there. You can kind of go through and see where we are and get some information, and take time. Don't be put off by, all of the stuff, because What is it?
So the website is actually on the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, and Agriculture and Lands website. It's www.education.gov.ky /scholarships. Right, so it's quite easy to find. So if you go to Ministry of Education's website, there's a link that says scholarships. You click on that and it goes straight to our page. Or you can email us at scholarships@gov.ky.
All right. If I may ask, then if references are required?
Yes, I think so. I think there's
school
records.
School records, where they're called transcripts, whatever. They're required. Uploaded from the student, or do the references and transcripts have to be sent independently by the referees and the schools, or it can be uploaded by the student?
The references can actually be uploaded by the student. What we are encouraging students to do is the referee has to sign off on that, what they're writing, right? So is to print the document, give it to the individual that you'd like to complete, and then they can either give it back to you and to the student, and they can upload it directly into their file, or they can email it to the scholarships office, submissions. I think it's under submissions at gov.ky. It tells you on the form, and then we can put it in the file. So we have the capability that, which is why, again, communication is key, is that if there's a student and they're having a problem in the process of the application, if you call into our office, which is 244-2482, one of the ladies can actually go into the website, see where you are, and try and help you navigate what that issue is. So we have the capability of uploading the document, specifically the character references and stuff for students, if they, because some persons may prefer to send it directly rather than give it back to the student. So that's fine.
There you go. Dr. Shari Smith is our guest, and we're talking about overseas scholarships. Can I read a WhatsApp for us? It says, hello. How about scholarships for Caymanian educators who want to go on to further their education?
There is no, how do I put this? There's no limit in terms of the degree type that you want to go.
Okay.
So if you are, scholarships are for Caymanians. So as we said previously, if you are a teacher or educator and you want to further your degree, your career or your professional qualifications, it's, open to everyone basically. What you need to do is also make sure that if you haven't been accepted in a program, you have to demonstrate that you've initiated conversation with that school for that program. So, yep.
All right. Well, when we come back from our break, Dr. Shari, let's continue talking. And if you got a question, well, give us a call. We can see what we can. If you bring in chocolate, make sure it's dark chocolate, 72% or better. If not, anyway. When we come back, Dr. Shari Smith, and we're talking about overseas scholarships, and really grateful for this time. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Back by popular demand, the Desk Cycle Half Price Sale. Yes, for a limited time only. Get your Desk Cycle for only CI $125. Keep fit, lose weight, stay healthy with the Desk Cycle Pedal Exerciser. Call 326-3726 or email deskcyclecayman@gmail.com. The Desk Cycle allows you to get healthy exercise while sitting at your desk, watching TV, or using your phone. You can be losing weight while reading a book, playing video games, or any other time when you are sitting and your legs are free. Join millions around the world who are loving their Desk Cycle, one of the highest rated items on Amazon with over 2,000 testimonials. The Desk Cycle has been featured on the Hallmark Channel, The Today Show on NBC, ABC, BBC News, CNBC, and many more. Get your Desk Cycle today for only CI $125. Call 326-3726 or email deskcyclecayman@gmail.com. For more information, visit deskcyclecayman.com or like our Facebook page.
South Coast Bar and Grill up in Breakers, man, that is the place. For traditional Cayman cuisine, oh, you will love the taste. At South Coast Bar and Grill, we got conch and lobster and turtle stew. And every Sunday, come out with your family for the barbecue.
South Coast Bar and Grill by the seaside, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, lunch and dinner. Call us at 947-2517.
For Cayman and cuisine, the talk today is South Coast Bar and Grill.
For years, we have been promised prosperity on the heels of rapid development.
However, last year, over 2,000 Caymanian families
required the services of the Needs Assessment Unit.
Now, we are faced with the largest capital project in our history.
At the risk of destroying what attracts people to our shores.
The government's Destination Performance Report states that annually
1.8 million cruise visitors contributed
$154 million in revenue,
whereas 450,000 stayover visitors contribute $497 million.
$497 million.
It is time for a national development plan.
It is time for a national development plan.
And better decision making.
That takes into account our human, financial, and ecological resources.
Where we will no longer be driven like a boat without a rudder.
We don't need handouts from cruise lines.
Get your answers.
Sign the petition. Sign the petition. Support the referendum.
Support the referendum.
Support the referendum.
And let's build our future together.
Together.
This season, Vigoro is stocking something for everyone in our 2 garden centers. Christmas decorations, terrariums, succulents, ceramics, blooms, orchids, bromeliads, garden sculptures and accessories, mobiles and garden furniture, water fountains and wall art, and even fairies for the little ones. Make it a Vigoro Christmas with a gift that will be treasured forever. Vigoro on Agricola will be open on Sunday, December 23rd, 11 to 5. Both garden centers will be open on Christmas Eve till 6 p.m. Merry Christmas from Vigoro.
Bransour's Home Gallery has been appointed the exclusive Cayman supplier for Duravit bathroom products. Duravit is the leading international manufacturer of bathroom ceramics, tubs, and showers, recognized around the world for beautiful, functional products. Winner of top industry awards, Duravit collaborates with leading European designers to provide the most elegant and innovative bath products. If you're ready to bring style, comfort, and innovation to your bathroom, visit Bransour's Home Gallery to see the new Duravit showroom and meet the in-house bath designer. Whether you're planning a functional family bathroom or a personal spa retreat, browse the Duravit collection and be inspired. Bransour's Home Gallery, delivering a new standard in custom designed bathrooms. Bransour's Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
I am worried about my employees' health insurance. Are there any companies out there that I can rely on for great coverage, affordable payments, and who will work to make the switch as easy as possible? Or am I asking for too much?
You sound like you need Fidelity Health. At Fidelity, they offer great coverage through a highly rated and trusted carrier. Payments I can afford, and with no on-island deductible on all the plans they offer. Best of all, they offered my company 50% back on the first month's premium.
This is too important. Today's the day I am switching to Fidelity Health.
Make the easy switch to Fidelity today and get 50% cash back on your first month's premium until December 31st. Call 949-7822 to make your switch now.
Hello, I'm Arthur Ebanks.
And I'm Angela Ebanks, owners of Savannah Pharmacy.
On behalf of the entire Savannah Pharmacy family, we would like to wish all of our Cayman families a very Merry Christmas and safe and prosperous New Year.
Remember, we're always just around the corner in Countryside Shopping Village with everything your family needs this holiday season.
We look forward to continuing to serve you and your loved ones throughout 2019.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us in the studio, Dr. Shari Smith. We're talking about overseas scholarships. She's the manager over the Scholarship Secretariat and also the senior policy advisor. And a parent.
Yes, definitely.
And I share that because I think sometimes people forget that, we wear, many hats, but we're all parents.
Yep.
And so our children collectively, their safety, as you shared, is important to us.
Yep.
With this process for the scholarships, I think we can't overemphasize that the child drives it as much as possible. But as a parent, we're there to provide a supporting role to ensure that things are going, and we can be involved and informed just to make sure.
Right.
Could we ask of you from the perspective of maybe the Secretariat, the application process? So you did say it's 5 stages, and to some extent I think you got to do one to do the other, but there are certain times you can move on and then come back and keep going. It's life.
Yes.
So give us some more sort of insight into what it's like?
Well, the student would go online. It's called Fluid Review is the website that we're currently using. And they would establish an account. And then they would start to, I think the first part is completing a survey, because right now there are 2 options in terms of government scholarship. We have the regular education government scholarship, in which the GPA requirement is 2.7, 3.0, I think. Got all kinds of numbers in my head today. But then we have the TVET scholarship, which is more for the technical, vocational, and that has a lower GPA, so a 2.75 for that one. So once the person completes the information in terms of what they're studying, then the system directs them that they may be able to apply for both, or one might be better than the other. And then you just start the process. So it's getting whatever the information is, so information on the school, filling out your demographic information, your school transcripts. We know, obviously, that students won't have their final grades, but they have hopefully at least 2-3 years prior of history in their from the school. So you would get that up until probably till December, your transcripts, so that you can provide that information. SAT for students who are in private schools, in the American system based, there's a SAT requirement of 1,100 that's required as well, or the ACT. We also, and then there's certain grade requirements in terms of exams. So the A-level passes, or if you're doing post-secondary studies, there's also requirements in terms of that. So 5 higher level subject passes with an A or B or C, which includes math and English, or 3 higher level subject passes with an A, B, or C. So different options depending on what your school basis is, but it's all spelled out on the website. So
and the SAT was 11 something, right?
1100.
1100, right?
Yeah.
Under the new system, I think they're going back to out of the score 1600 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does that matter for English and let's say
it's combined score?
Yeah. So let's say a student gets a perfect score on one, and gets 300 on the other. 8 and 3 is 11, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. It's a combined score.
Yeah, it's the overall combined score.
All right.
Yeah. No, obviously we would look at, and encourage you, if your math score was really, really low, and you want to be a, actuary scientist, that you might want to reconsider what you're going to be studying. But it's a combined score.
All right. And I say that hopefully people will recognize that there's things. So getting information, getting to the website and asking the questions, and taking, this time over the break. If your student hasn't graduated yet, but is graduating next year, it's not too late.
Yes.
It's actually, if your student has graduated or is at UCCI or whatever. Age, is there an age? I know you mentioned,
It starts at 17, and then goes beyond. I mean, other hat that I wear is I am a past student scholarship awardee. So obviously, there's allowed for older persons.
You're not there.
But yeah, there's, you have to be 17 and graduated from, or in the process of graduating from your high school.
17 or graduated, or 17 and graduated?
17 or graduated.
Or graduated.
Yeah, because you can be 17 in your senior year. So the expectation is that you're going to be graduating between May and June. So that you're looking at, this period is looking at persons who are interested in going off to study in September 2019.
So for that then, for next year, next academic year, 2019, September, August, November, October, whatever it is, depending where they're going, they have to be 17 by the deadline of the 31st of January, or 17 by admission to university.
You're getting really picky
but you have, postgraduate studies. I mean, come on.
Well, if you're doing postgraduate studies, you're not 17 yet, then you're a genius and you are probably somewhere else.
No.
But yeah, I mean, once they're planning on going off to university come September next year, obviously they would have had to complete school and exams, and so we would be looking for you to complete the process now. Now, one of the things that they can do is that is apply now. We encourage students to apply now. If you're awarded a scholarship and you decide that you're not going off to school in September for various reasons, whatever, you can defer your scholarship up to a year. But if you don't apply now and you decide you want to go to school in September, then you've lost that window. So it's better to do it, see where you're at, and then make the decisions at that point, right? Then wait, because if not, then you're going to have to wait until next year, November, when the new application period opens up.
Well, I appreciate Dr. Shari Smith's time, and as we talk about overseas scholarships. And I keep asking about the application process because sometimes some people don't always appreciate that there are little things that need to transpire.
Right.
There's the financial data. We all talked about references and transcripts and uploading the grades and SATs and all the other things. What about bike references? Are those things that are going to be required as part of the due diligence for the financial? I should know this, and I didn't.
No, you should know this. No, I don't think we're asking for bike references anymore. It's more of the job letter, which states the salary of the individual, and then the means testing, the combined income information. One of the other things, though, that is important to students, to the application for the student, which sometimes I think students they undervalue, is their personal statement component.
I just wrote it down to ask you about it. I like it. Great minds.
Yes, that personal statement. You will see it on probably every application form that you have to fill out in your entire life, right? And I'm constantly saying to persons, that is your opportunity to sell yourself and sell what it is that you're going after, because I may want to study, I don't know, popcorn making, let's say, right?
Me too.
See, in sync. And someone will say about like popcorn making, how are you going to do that, right? Like, that's crazy. They're not going to give you a scholarship for that. But if I can demonstrate that this skill is something that is linked to a area in our entertainment, growing tourism field, right? And how I'm going to utilize my qualifications to enhance that field.
Become a popcornologist.
Exactly. So that's your opportunity. Now, if you just say, I want to be a popcornologist, we're creating words now. This is what happens when I get on the radio with Dwayne. And that's it. That's all you put. Then we're kind of the persons who review, because they're left to kind of figure out, okay, this person's really not serious, because your personal statement is like the effort, how bad do you want this, right? I think Cayman is, I'm going to put myself out on a limb and think we're probably one of the few, if not the only regions that provides financial support to persons wanting to study that does not require them mandatorily to pay it back. All we're asking is for you to return to your country of your home of residence and give back into the community.
I mean, I could even get political and say we require them to be bonded to government and have a place of employment. But we're not going to go there, right? I mean, not today.
Not today. Okay. Thank you. But yeah, so if you were living in the U.S. and you're a U.S. citizen, you would have to get a student loan, and you'd be paying that back forever. I mean, I had professors when I started my doctoral program who were still paying on their student loans. So it's an awesome opportunity for persons wanting to better themselves, but it's also an investment that your country is making in you.
And I think that personal statement you shared, only from the students and even from my personal experience, we're not good or as good as we can be at selling ourselves, highlighting, or that's something in us that we need to work on. There are others that, they blow up a balloon and the way they tell you the story,
exactly.
They just jumped off Mount Everest in a hot air balloon. But that's another story. Yeah. We have a short break, Dr. Shard, just to take here, and when you come back, continue.
Sure.
Excuse me. Please stay tuned for Talk Today. When we come back, Dr. Shard Smith will continue, and we can tell you more about the Education Council, the overseas scholarships in particular, and the deadline is the 31st of January. That's next month. Okay, so don't think that's a long time away. That's next month. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Oh, this Christmas, Kirk Freeport is wishing everyone peace, love, joy, and $40,000 in prizes. Win one of the multiple $5,000 and $1,000 cash prizes just for shopping at your favorite Kirk Freeport store. Purchases of $100 before noon on Christmas Eve qualify for all remaining prize draws. There's even a Rolex watch prize draw on January 2nd, and loads of other great prizes. Peace, love, joy, and the island's biggest Christmas sweepstakes. Only from Kirk Freeport. Full details on kirkfreeport.com. Merry Christmas from Kirk Freeport.
The only bad workout is the one that never happens. Make 2019 the year you commit to fitness. Let King Sports Center put you on the right track with their Get Fit 2019 sale from December 15th to January 15th. 2-for-1 Powerhouse Gym memberships for $600 or a single membership for $325. And call them to find out how you can take an additional $100 off this sale price. 946-5464 or visit kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, providing your fitness, recreation, and relaxation needs. Remember, fit is not a destination. It is a way of life.
Stay connected and enjoy your favorite holiday moments with Flow. Make Christmas memories great with the best phones at amazing holiday prices. Get the Samsung Galaxy A8 from $43.25 a month or the S9 from $70.75 a month from Flow. Sign up for Flow Quad Play to share up to 50 gigs of data and 5,000 calling minutes. It's amazing value and great gifts for loved ones or yourself. Plus, plenty of chances to win Flow holiday prizes. So make it Flow for everything mobile this Christmas. Visit discoverflow.ky for more. Terms and conditions apply.
Having a party at the beach or a team building exercise at the park? Reserving your cabana is easy with the Public Works Department online booking system. Create your account and use the online calendar to pick your desired date and facility. You can even pick the cabana you want to use. Look for your confirmation email, print it off, and bring it with you as proof of reservation. Enjoying our natural environment has never been so easy. Visit www.eservices.gov.ky to book your cabana today.
Make it Le Classique this holiday season and give the gift that will last forever. The gift of leather. With leather goods, accessories, and footwear that fuse classic timeless fashion with today's trends, Le Classique will add versatility and distinction to any wardrobe. Find the perfect gift for any man with the selection of leather belts, wallets, briefcases, and luggage to shoes for leisure, work, or special occasions up to size 13. Make it Le Classique this holiday season. For the ladies looking for style and quality, Le Classique carries handbags, luggage, shoes, and accessories for any occasion. Shop the new shoe, accessories, and leather collection for men and women at Le Classique this holiday season. Make it last. Make it Le Classique.
For more than 30 years, Rotary Central has worked along with our business community, business advisors, media, and schools, introducing over 500 students annually to the universe of business. Students are guided to create, operate, and deliver products to market. Today, thousands of Caymanian business professionals point to junior achievement as their introduction to business. When you support Rotary Central fundraisers like the Music Extravaganza, you support Cayman's next generation of business professionals. High schoolers learn human resources, sales, marketing, accounting, compliance, legal skills, manufacturing. Cayman's next generation business professionals find purpose and get inspiration through Rotary Central Junior Achievement programs. Junior Achievement, another inspiration project by Rotary Central.
Cayman's cruise tourism is not at risk.
Not at risk.
Not at risk.
If we do not build the piers.
This is according to the Vice President of Carnival Cruise Lines.
The vast majority of cruise ships will continue to be smaller ships that will tender for the foreseeable future.
Of the 22 ships on order by Carnival Cruise Lines, only three
are mega-class ships
destined for the Caribbean.
It is also a fact that the fourth largest mega ship in the world,
the MSC Margavalia,
will call on Cayman from October 2019 by tender.
Cayman's thriving cruise sector has grown steadily by 14%.
We will not lose any current revenue without the piers.
But we may jeopardize our stay-over tourism,
which generates 76% of our tourism revenue.
Is a cruise pier really needed?
There are currently too many unanswered questions.
Our government must get this right.
For us now and future generations.
Make an informed decision. It's your constitutional right.
It is your constitutional right. Sign the petition, support the referendum, and let's build our future together.
This health flash is brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Over 65 million people around the world have moderate or severe COPD, a family of diseases that includes emphysema and chronic bronchitis. Cleveland Clinic, Florida offers a wide range of management and treatment options for COPD, including programs focused on education, medication, smoking cessation, and pulmonary rehabilitation. A team of experts is ready to review your symptoms and test results to develop a comprehensive treatment plan. For more information, visit clevelandclinicflorida.org.
You need Fidelity Health. At Fidelity, they offer great coverage through a highly rated and trusted carrier, payments I can afford, and with no on-island deductible on all the plans they offer. Best of all, they offered my company 50% back on the first month's premium.
Make the easy switch to Fidelity today and get 50% cash back on your first month's premium until December 31st. Call 949-7822 to make your switch now.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us. In the studio, Dr. Shari Smith. We're talking about overseas scholarships. She is the manager of the Scholarship Secretariat. And I don't say this to scare people or to be alarmist. Or, the sky isn't falling, but the deadline for overseas scholarships ends on the 31st of January, next month.
Yes.
And so there are things we have to do. You said the website is, go onto the Ministry of Education website or education.
Scholarships website. Mm-hmm. So which is a link off of the Ministry of Education. So it's www.gov.ky/scholarships. Go on there and start the process.
Now you were sharing about the process, whether you go into government, public schools or private schools. Process there, whether it's American school or English criteria. Can I read this message that came in and asking them if the students attend an American school, as we know there are a couple here. Right. They don't do the A levels because they won't offer it in the British system. Right. They still need to start the foundation course. And it's asking why don't they cover this? Is that covered, the foundation course? And what is that? That's the UK.
Yeah, that would be the UK. Okay. So in the UK, the way that their system is set up is that because they have the external exams, if a student is going into the science or medicine field, for example, it would be expected that they would have taken certain science exams, which would basically be kind of like prerequisites for that program. Okay. For students who have gone to an American-based school, it doesn't mean that they can't get into a UK school, but they may be required to take the foundation classes, which would be that extra science and that extra math and so forth. Okay. I can't say why schools, I went to a private American school. I didn't go to school in the UK. But again, it starts with the process of when you start thinking about that process, right? A lot of people don't start thinking about university till possibly the last year of their high school, right? It really has to start from when you're like 4 years out. So if you're in American school, it's that last 4 years of your high school that's counting towards, right? So if you were thinking of going to college, then in those last 4 years, you would have made sure that you were taking the various sciences and so forth that are required for you to get into a university. In terms of the UK has like a scoring system. So if you went to an American-based school, your student would go online to I think it's UCAST, plug in their information. It gives them a score. And then they use that to communicate with the universities they're looking at. Universities, so we've had students who have gone through our government system, have taken their exams, and they still are required to take the foundation classes because those foundation classes are the core for that specific program, right? So I know that council currently has not covered the foundation year, but we've been finding that more and more that it is becoming more of a requirement. And so I know that is something that they're considering and, looking at and so forth because it's becoming more of a frequent requirement for ensuring that the students have that.
And that's 1 year in the UK, 1 academic year?
Yeah, it'd be, the term. I think it's like a term, yeah.
So just August to December, a term, a semester.
I could be wrong.
Okay. Yeah. I was just thinking out loud and sometimes they say it shouldn't, but maybe that's where UCCI could add, they could do that foundation year in partnership with the UK. I mean, we're not independent yet, right?
No. Last time. When I woke up this morning,
we weren't independent?
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of the thing and we could do that. Thanks to the listener online. I just want to share it is a full year.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
I certainly appreciate it. And again, this is where in Cayman we got students who are, in an American system and in a British system. And so when they graduate, they may have A levels, they may just have SAT, they may have done both.
Right, right. I know that some students who have attended private American schools have taken CXA exams, opportunities. I know that I think it's the Seventh-day Adventist School does the CAPE, which is an equivalent. Yeah. And so I've known students who are going to the private school and high school, but they're also taking classes in the evening to cover those exams and do those additional exams. So it's, but it goes back again to that planning and having that conversation so that you know what is there. But it doesn't mean that the student can't get there. It just might take you a little bit longer.
Something you said just then that I hope parents, really take on board. Your child may not be traveling off, expected to travel off next year, 2019. It may be 2 years away, 3 years away. Start thinking about it now.
Yeah.
It's going to come quickly.
Yeah.
And much more so than you realize.
Yes.
And so if there are information sessions, if there are things, just get involved, get informed, and start to become a little bit more comfortable with the process.
Yeah.
I'd like to extend an invitation to you and to your team, as many as you want, as often as you want, between now and the deadline, in person or by telephone or through a press release. However we can get information out. I don't say this lightly, but education is something that we all have to champion. Yes. And it just can't be for a politician or aspiring politician or some other pundit, whether it's in a newspaper or otherwise, right?
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts you may want to share with us, Ms. Shari?
Just to encourage persons, young people, older persons, anyone who's interested to please go online and complete the application process by the deadline. And, if you have questions, to contact us at scholarships@gov.ky or at 244-2482. One of the wonderful ladies that answers the phones will be happy to help you. And, just get started and try. I mean, like you just said, education it's never too late. And I think it's a great opportunity for persons to go after. And if you're not successful this year, then, it doesn't mean that you can't reapply next year, right? But if you don't try, you won't know. And we will be having a kind of town hall meeting in early January. And, if persons are in the process of doing the application and they have questions and they want to come and meet with us at that point, we'll send out some information on that shortly as well.
Well, I would say to people, always stay tuned to Radio Cayman, and whether we can announce it here through Talk Today, or whether it's in our news or a bulletin board or through our PSAs. But if we can get that information out to you as parents and prospective students for those information sessions, I believe I can commit our team that we'll happily do that.
Awesome.
Because it's good for the country. Well, may I extend a very special, safe, very enjoyable, hopefully somewhat relaxing Christmas.
Yes. Thank you, and same to you and your family.
Thank you too much, Dr. Shari Smith. You're talking about a wonderful, wonderful civil servant and excellent lady, Dr. Shari. It's a pleasure, always.
Always.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Let's pause and take a short break. When we come back, we'll ask you to rejoin us for more Talk Today.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
Police are making a public appeal to witnesses after reports of gunfire and a man brandishing a firearm at a West Bay Road bar just south of 7 Mile Beach. The incident happened on Saturday, December 15th, and police say the man left the scene after getting into an argument with 2 other people at the location. He is described as having a brown complexion and was last seen wearing a black shirt and black shorts. Police did not say what time the incident occurred, but they did say they got a call around midnight. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. The European Commission says it has started to implement its preparations for a no-Brexit deal in case the UK crashes out of the EU without a plan. It has announced temporary measures to try to reduce the impact, but says it cannot count all the problems it expects. As Prime Minister Theresa May's proposed exit plan flounders in Parliament, both sides are preparing for the worst-case situation. The UK has allocated $2.5 billion in funding to government departments. After months embroiled in a high-profile diplomatic row, Italy has agreed to a deal on its budget with the European Commission. The Commission had demanded changes to Italy's budget plans because of the country's high debt. Italy initially stood its ground, leading EU officials to threaten disciplinary action and potentially expensive fines. And road traffic accidents are the 7th leading cause of death in Belize, with approximately 21 deaths per 100,000 persons. This is the highest fatality rate among CDB's 19 borrowing member countries, BMCs. In response to this challenge, the Board of Directors of the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, has approved funding of $5.9 million to the government of Belize to support critical efforts to improve road safety. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
See what I'm saying? I know you've been pining for us. We're back. Okay, definition of the word pining.
Intransitive verb. 1. To lose vigor, health, or flesh, languish. 2. To yearn intensely and persistently, especially for something unattainable, they still pine for their lost wealth.
See what I'm saying? December. I know you all were pining for the show because every time I go out, I keep hearing, when you gonna do next show? When you do next show? I like that show, you know? I like that show. So join us for the next. See what I'm saying? This Friday, that's the next one you're coming up, the 21st of December, 2018, while we still have it. I don't know when it is. It's 12:15 to 2:30.
See what I'm saying is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
See, we focusing on pining because it's Christmas time and you're waiting for your loved ones to come back. And that's where you get the pine. And that's when I first heard of it. Seacher. No, Seacher. Yeah, football, playing football. Seacher.
Proudly sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974.
On Thursday at 7 p.m., you can hear a repeat broadcast of CI Retro's Talk Today special presentation, Cayman Islands Christmas Remembered, when we take a look back at Cayman Islands Christmas celebrations and traditions through the years, going back some 150 years to present day. This special CI Retro Talk Today presentation is being brought to you by Four Winds Esso, Cayman Enterprise City, pioneering a new type of special economic zones in the Cayman Islands, focused on technology and innovation. FSH Designs. Let your imagination grow with FSH Designs Limited. Visit fshdesigns.com today. Eats Cafe, Legends, and Yoshi Sushi, located in the Fall Center on the West Bay Road, across from the Westin. And by Puritan Cleaners, celebrating 60 years of excellent service to the Cayman Islands community. And to you from all of our fine sponsors, all the best for the Christmas season and into the new year. Remember, Thursday, 7 p.m., CI Retro Talk Today's special Christmas presentation, Cayman Islands Christmas Remembered, looking back at Christmas over the last 150 years on Radio Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us. And it's, really is a privilege and a pleasure. I get to sit here. I get to learn a whole lot and get to be informed about what's going on in our community. And it's almost as if you're facilitating the dissemination of information to empower your people so that they can, move on in a very productive, positive, meaningful, impactful way.
Well, that's the hope.
That's the hope?
That's the hope.
Wow. Imagine that. With hope and expectation, with work, and with a little bit of elbow grease, right, you can get things. Ms. Raquel Doheny joins us as we talk about the good things that continue to unfold at the Family Resource Center. So, Merry Christmas to you, first off.
All right, close enough, but
close
happy
enough?
Holidays.
Happy holidays? Man.
Yeah.
I love when a caller shared that it's Christmas every day. That notion that in her heart and her sense of giving and thanksgiving and her spirit of wanting to genuinely contribute to the community. Yeah. She exhibits that all the time in her calls, and I thought that's great. Oh. And it's kind of like Christmas at the FRC all year round as well, because you guys do a lot too.
We do a lot.
All right.
Absolutely, and we're going to talk about some of those things that we do.
Well, let's talk about FRC, baby. Yes. Tell me. I won't try to sing anymore until 5 minutes or so.
So just a little bit of history. The Family Resource Center is a part of the overarching Department of Counseling Services. Mm-hmm. But our work is a little bit different, and this is why I guess our department is split up into sectors. The Family Resource Center is the community-based arm of that department, and we really do focus mainly on the family, which our name suggests, and parenting in particular. So we have quite a number of parenting programs to suit different needs, and we're continuing to grow and develop those programs as time goes by. And so we're ready to hit the ground running for the new year, and just wanting to share some of the things that are available to the general public, because all of our services are free. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important that people are aware that these resources are available to them at no cost, because quite often sometimes when we need something, we don't access it because of the cost factor. Yeah. So I think it's great that we're able to be available to every and anyone,
Well, as we talk about the programs, could I ask this off the bat, for those who want to maybe know more, who want to maybe access some of the programs, do they come in, do they call, do they send an email?
So there are a number of ways to get hold of us. We have a general email address, which is frc@gov.ky. Mm-hmm. That is always easy because we all have access to that. Our general phone number is 949-0006. We have a newly revamped
page or website, and that is always a good source of getting information because we have now made it very inclusive. It's really detailed and extensive. You can actually register for programs on our website just by filling out the short form, which makes life easy. You know, we're living in the digital age, and so everything is about technology, and so we're making sure to I guess keep up with that. So yeah, our website frc.gov.ky, definitely a really easy way to get involved. And then of course our Facebook page, that we constantly have our flyers on there. We are talking about the partnerships that we have with other persons in the community. There's always lots of fun stuff going on there, and that's definitely a way to keep up to date with what we have going on.
As you share too, the notion that this is the digital age, and as people access it, they be able to understand what is available. So going online and doing that makes it easier.
It does.
Now you also have a physical location.
We do.
Newly revamped.
Not newly revamped, but new, as in we've moved. So that is a very important piece. So we are now located on Mary Street, number 77 Mary Street, on the 3rd floor. So most people are more familiar with that being the previous Walker's location. So Walker's building right across from the DHL building on Mary Street up on the 3rd floor. And it's a great location. We're enjoying it so far, and we're really encouraging people to come down and check us out.
Right. And you have a number of, whether it's the workshops or the that ongoing and the parenting programs. And
absolutely.
I think it's important for us to appreciate that having a resource. It doesn't matter who we are. It doesn't matter, whether we're a first-time parent, whether this is a new addition to the family in whatever capacity.
Indeed.
Whether we have postgraduate degrees or, we didn't get to finish high school.
Yeah.
We all could use help.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think those are some of the messages that we're trying to get across to our general public as well. This is not for if you have an issue, if you have a problem in your family, if you're struggling that you come to FRC. It's about there might just be new skills. There might be new interests that our children have that we can't keep up with, because I'm telling you, this technology stuff, sometimes it's so hard, to keep up with their interests, and it's just new creative ways of staying in tune and in touch with our children. It's not about saying that something is broken or needs mending, and so now let's come address this issue. It's about staying current with parenting, because it is the biggest job that you will ever be tasked with. Those who have the privilege, and it's just about trying to do it to the best of your ability.
As you share that, many of us recognize that in our jobs we're constantly learning, we're constantly trying to retool ourselves or stay current. Maybe we're the IT guru in the organization, but new software comes out or new hardware. But maybe it's not IT. Maybe we're working somewhere. We still need to have relevant information in order to make ourselves valuable.
Yep.
Like being a parent. How do you communicate effectively with your children? Because sometimes, I don't know, they speak a language that's unfamiliar.
I mean, and times are changing. I'm sure there are a lot of sayings or slangs or slurs or even jargon that we used to use that is so not cool anymore. When we say it, it's like, oh, mom or dad, stop. Why would you say that? It's the same thing. In the same way that their, dress sense changes and their attitude changes, their language changes, the things that they're interested in changes, their environment around them is changing, and so they're changing with it, and so should our parenting styles and our parenting approaches. Like, we have got to stay current, because doing the same old thing and expecting a different result, it's just not possible.
But I think too, Ms. Raka, the idea that if we as parents are grounded, there are certain, I say, fundamentals perhaps, maybe values that you want to, that you think are important, and how do you convey them so that they don't become dogmatic? But the children embrace them because they see the value in those things, It may be that every Saturday evening as a family you have a meal because Monday morning isn't convenient and neither is a Friday night. How do you make sure that that's structure and schedule and the importance of it.
Yeah, I mean, we always tell families that when they come to us that while we have research and evidence-based practices that we're using as part of our programming, we always tell them, you are the experts in your family. You are the ones who live with these children 9 to 5, well, not 9 to 5, sorry, 24/7.
It feels that way.
If only it was 9 to 5, 24/7, and you know who they are, how they respond, how they react, and so while you're coming to get these skills, it's about you identifying what is going to work for you and what is going to apply for you. You know, like if I tell you have to have dinner 5 times a week when you really only get home from work twice a week, then it's an unrealistic expectation. So even us, when working with our families, have to meet them where they're at, you know, and sort of, work with them and provide skills and tools that suits their individual familial needs as well as their individual children, because every child is different and it's not a one size fits all.
No.
And I think that's one of those things that we've got to help parents to rethink. They think that, not all of them, but quite often we hear this thing of, well, it worked for me. And it may have, but it doesn't mean that it will work for every single other person.
Well, even if it works for you, could it work better if you make some tweaks?
That's true.
And, how do you, as a parent, ensure that, that thing that you're trying to do, even within the greatest of intentions, to be the very best, for your children, are? We have a break, Mr. Fox. And then when we come back, Ms. Raquel, you can share with us more about FRC and the program as you wish. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
It's big. It's a blowout sale. Get your last minute Christmas shopping done with the 8 to 8 sale at Roro Variety. Roro Variety Store, Wednesday, December 19th. Everything from luggage, knapsacks, men's and women's big size shoes up to size 12. Household items, bathroom accessories, towels, clocks, and teen handbags. Roro Variety blowout sale, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Wednesday, December 19th. It's big. It's a blowout sale. Roro Variety Store, Tropical Plaza, Smith Road. Telephone 924-9553.
Retain your peace of mind by installing a reliable generator, knowing that your family is safe and secure during a power outage. At Corporate Electric, we care about the well-being of our customers and their loved ones. We are the official distributor of Kohler SDMO generators in the Cayman Islands and can conduct a free assessment of your house to suggest the perfect fit. Call us at 946-2277. Visit our website or the Facebook page for more details.
Going back to the brack again.
Look, I can't afford to miss this one. The Sport Bake Committee presents the second annual Sport Bake Christmas Homecoming, December 15th through the 25th.
It's a place called Christmas Island.
Featuring 3 days of traditional Cayman Brack Christmas festivities, including live music by district musicians, home decorating contest, children's party, homecoming party, carol service, seniors gift distribution, singspiration, old-time kitchen dance, and fireworks to close off the year. For more information on dates and locations, call 925-3250. The Spot Bake Christmas Homecoming, December 15th through the 25th. It's time to come on home to the Brack again.
Going back to the brack again.
Getting ready for Christmas is all about the finishing touches.
The icing on the cake, the table neatly set, decorations specially placed, and gifts thoughtfully wrapped, all to share with those we love.
Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.
Brit K, where people come first.
Brit K's offices close at noon, December 24th and 31st.
Visit britk.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. And as we had a chance to tell you about the Family Resource Center, Ms. Raquel Duhini joins us. And I looked at the clock and thinking, it's not Friday, but it certainly feels like it. And it's not 2:30. It feels like 5. So I don't want to, take too much of your time, but I'm really grateful for you sharing with us so that the public understands we're in a new location. Some wonderful programs still on offer. And why not avail ourselves of it? Make ourselves that much better.
Absolutely. So like we said, we're now located on Mary Street in the old Walker's building. So that's right across from the HL building. So come check us out in our new digs.
Across from what used to be Thompson Meat Market, right? Right there.
Is that what it used to be?
You see?
You trying to age me? But yeah, and it's a great new location, and we're hoping to be able to do great things there. One of the first things that I think we set up for, because we're super excited to get the ball rolling again, is our SNAP program. We've definitely allocated some space to be able to run that program. It's a 13-week program, and I know a lot of people say 13 weeks, oh my goodness, but it really does fly by. It's only one evening per week between 6 and 7:30, and we're hoping to kick that off between the 10th of January and the 4th of April. And what SNAP stands for is Stop Now and Plan. And that program, even though the SNAP skills themselves could be applied to every single individual in their daily lives, it's really specifically geared towards younger children. Quite often we find a lot of programs for teenagers and all these, different programs, but very seldom for the younger age group. Between the age of 6 and 10 is what it caters to. And it is a workshop that helps to provide skills for these boys and girls, because they're SNAP boys and SNAP girls. We keep them separate. To be able to manage their own emotions and self-regulate. It's about being in control in the moment. So when we're about to make those SNAP decisions that might, what we refer to as make our problems bigger, that might get us into more trouble, that might make things worse. It's about being able to control yourself right in the heat of that moment. And that essentially might even be one of the most difficult things to do, not just for children, but for adults too. And at the end of this SNAP program, it is absolutely amazing, because you can see these children actually using what we refer to as their stopping themselves right before that knee-jerk reaction. And then coming up with their plan and using it. All those calming down strategies, all the things that they learn, you can start to see them using it, like literally standing there looking at this kid, being in control in the moment. And it's absolutely amazing, because these are usually the children that are being excluded from school and from class, and that parents are really struggling with at home. And those really what we refer to as extreme behaviors. But even if we look at that term, extreme behaviors, really all it is a lack of skill, the lack of the ability to regulate in that moment. And that's all SNAP does. It teaches them that skill that was absent, and it makes the world of difference. Yeah. Self-control, in a sense, for those who are listening and not quite follow. Self-regulation. But yeah, because while it's great to sort of use the term control, I think what quite often happens with them is, because those behaviors are quite often difficult to manage, we find that parents, teachers, persons that are interacting with them at, after school or camps or whatever, become extremely rigid, which actually makes it worse for them. They're trying to box them in, and they're, trying to get out. And what this does is it puts them back in the driver's seat and getting them to think about those decisions and those choices, because that's what they are, essentially choices in that moment, and thinking, is this the choice I want to make, or can I come up with another choice? Can I come up with another plan? Yeah. Well, as you share that, that would apply to all of us. It sure would. Adult, yeah. In particular. We at FRC, you'll hear us walking around using that SNAP language all the time, talking about, hey, you know what? I'm having a hard thought right now. Meaning that what I'm thinking is negative. And when we think negative, it often leads to negative outcomes and actions. Yeah. And so quite often what we refer to as cool our thoughts down. We'll start to think of what else might be the reason for this situation. And it really does change how you respond to it. Like when you can think positively about a situation, it really makes you not feel the need to respond in a negative way. And I think that's something you shared earlier, that hopefully in all of our previous discussions that people will pick up on. Accessing these resources only makes you stronger. Yeah. You shouldn't attach any kind of stigma or other thing to it. Oh, well, that's because of this. Well, you were an athlete and you want to get better because you won the silver the last time you were trying to go for the gold. Now, you're not going to stop trying. You're going to try even harder. Yeah. Right? But maybe you didn't win anything. You just want to qualify for the team. Yeah. You're going to try even harder. Yeah, and everything that we do in life, there's room for improvement. Yeah. Even we at SNAP, at FRC, we always say, we're not experts. Like, we have skills and we are skilled in our field, but we're not going to be experts in every single person's individual family because we don't visit you at home, you know? And so we get information from you that's relevant for us to tailor a program or a set of skills that then meets the need that you've, expressed. SNAP definitely gives us an opportunity to be able to even go into the schools and help the children in the middle of that difficult behavior. So us as SNAP facilitators, you'll find FRC team sometimes out on the playground with that child going, okay, so that kid didn't share with you. How are you feeling? What are you going to do? How might you respond? What's your cool thought? Right in the middle of the situations that they often struggle with. And so it's a really, I don't even know how to describe. It's an exciting, useful, just amazing program because even us as parents, we want to be there for our children all the time and protect them from all the situations and teach them all these things. And there are moments in the day that we don't see our children. They're at school, they're at nursery, they're at college. And this actually gives the child an opportunity to have an adult there to help them in the moment. And that's what FRC does. We go down to the school for individual befriender sessions, which is just helping that child with those skills when they really need it most, so that when we're not there, and they have that situation, they know how to deal with it.
And I think that's where we look at the resources and acquire some of the tools.
Yeah.
We're able to help ourselves, be perhaps a more loving, nurturing family that we want to be.
Yeah.
And by extension, it translates positively into our communities.
Yeah.
For that, then, SNAP program, I know they do a lot of the Darkness Light sort of programs they do. The Fathers First. There are a number of different programs that you do. We just need to make ourselves available to them.
Absolutely. Yeah, Darkness to Light is a really easy one to access because it's a training program. So it's only 2.5 hours to 3 hours of your time just to be able to get that awareness. Right. It is a child sexual abuse prevention training program, and it helps parents as well as persons who work with children in a professional setting, whether that be as a coach, as a teacher, as a summer camp counselor, to be able to make good decisions and help keep children safe. And it helps parents to be aware of difficult situations that your children might be in that you're not aware of, appropriate language to use to help your children to be able to advocate for themselves and to be able to verbalize what their experiences are. It definitely is an eye-opener. I know sometimes at the end of it, parents are like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? But it's really not to put you on edge. It's really just to make you more aware and getting you to think outside the box about how do I make situations safer for my child? How do I make situations safer when I'm engaged with other children? And how do I teach my children how to keep themselves safe if they're old enough?
I think too, organizations and individuals, whether it's the coach or the, tutor, whether that's sport or music or academics, you learn things that you can do that you took for granted.
Yeah.
Not understanding that, inadvertently you could be presenting, a situation that puts yourself at risk or your student.
Absolutely.
And organization.
Yes.
Nobody is accused you or accusing, but why not be proactive, right?
I think the thing is, quite often why it's not one of those ones that come up is because in many communities, and not excluding ours, it's this thing of, oh, well, thank goodness it doesn't happen here, or that's not as big a problem, or we don't see that as much here. And it's not that we're not seeing it. It's that, are we creating situations and environments where it's not safe to come forward? Are we not taking on those reports? So those are the kinds of things that might make us feel that it's not prevalent, but it really is.
Yeah, and we, need to do everything we can to keep, our children in particular safe. Ms. Raquel, we do have a call online.
Okay.
As you go to our phones, I put on my headset. You're welcome to put yours on there. Comfortable to fit, eh?
I fit my hairstyle.
There you go. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hey, Mr. Dwayne.
Hey, my friend. Welcome, man.
Yeah, I thought I'd call you back, yeah?
You did indeed, man. Thank you for doing so.
Yeah. So, is one last thing I gotta ask you.
Uh-huh.
Right? No offense to your guest, you know what I mean? Tell her, please don't pay no attention to me yet, but listen to what I'm going to say, right?
Right, man.
Right. You can't have a millionaire, right? With so he made millions off of selling drugs, right? You can't have that in the same community as certain people, okay? But you got sex offenders, molesters, able to get bail and able to live in the same place, right? You don't think that kind of funny or I just got it misunderstood. I just not understanding certain things.
So you're thinking that restrictions on those types of people should be more prevalent? Is that what you're sharing? A registry reform or monitoring? Is that? I want to make sure I'm understanding somebody you're asking.
Yeah, you catching on, yeah.
So wait, what are your thoughts?
No, I just wondering if we is okay with that. We really okay with that. We really okay to pay $200-something million to keep what he is now in the States, an entrepreneur, from making him money, but yet be able to keep, these sex offenders with minimal jail sentence, minimal fines and all that. We really okay with that. That's our really thing in life.
All right. Well, thank you, caller. Right. I'm not at all offended by that. I agree in terms of the terms and the sentences and have been a little bit lax. And so that is something that quite often contributes to victims not coming forward and sharing because, you put yourself through that experience and at the end of it, the outcome is not what I guess it doesn't justify the crime, so to speak. What I can say is that is being revised, and they are making those outcomes, I guess, so to speak. It's still in the works, but they are starting to be a little bit more firm with those sentences for those types of crimes. We're also now even looking at DV matters being in a separate court. So while we are a few steps behind, meaning that these things should have already been in place and we should be a lot further along with these things, it's not being ignored completely. I am hearing and seeing more action, and I'm hoping that we do get to a place where, not that we're naming and shaming them, because that sometimes can have the reverse outcome, but we're definitely finding more effective ways to keep our communities safe. Yeah, I think I agree that is a concern. How to deal with that quite often can be very touchy, because when we think about perpetrators of these types of crimes, quite often, if we really look at the history of how that cycle started, it stems most often, not always, but most often, from them having similar experiences as well. And as a result, rehabilitation quite often is very important to put an end to that, as opposed to just sentencing. It doesn't mean that I don't think that sentencing shouldn't happen, but it is also important that we're addressing the root cause of the issue and giving not just the victims but the perpetrators the support that they need to address, the cause of those behaviors.
This is that dialogue, but also willingness to acknowledge some of the challenging things. And as you shared just prior to the caller, the notion that just because we don't see high numbers in certain areas, is it because it's not occurring or because it's not being reported? We need to access the programming, understand how we can, make ourselves safer, make our children safer.
In our mandated reporting policy based on the children's law, since the revision has definitely contributed to those increases in reports, because now everyone who works with or comes in contact with children are now mandated reporters, especially in your professional capacity. But it doesn't then excuse, the neighbor, the friend, the family member from also being held accountable if it's seen that they were not advocating for these children and keeping them safe. So
well, I appreciate when you guys come on and share your thoughts, and hopefully as the new year rolls in, we'll have more time to share. Any closing thoughts you may want to leave with us today?
Oh, closing.
That time, I'm thinking it's like,
I'm telling you. So should I close by saying we have lots and lots of programs that I haven't even spoken about yet?
So you need more time, huh?
Yeah, we should have booked some more time. The easiest way I would say to get involved is just call us and seek more information, because even if we don't give you exact start dates and times for these programs, we have waiting lists, meaning that once you come in and we get in contact with you and have a means of contacting you back, we're able to get you involved in these programs as and when they start. So we have programs and workshops for parents who are parenting the same children in different homes. So we have the co-parenting workshop for that. So these parents and families are separated, but they share children. And it just helps to improve the experience and the outcome for that child who is in the middle. We have parent coaching, which is an individualized process that families can come in on their own or with their children. CPS is a new one that we've been doing, and we find that has been really, really effective. And it stands for Collaborative Proactive Solutions. So it's actually where the children are getting involved in addressing some of the things that parents have as concerns. So they're coming up with solutions to their own problems. And you kind of get the best compliance when the concerned person is involved, right? Yeah. And so they're coming up with ways to address their own issues at home and otherwise. And then obviously we have our sort of lighter services that are drop-ins, like our family skills sessions on a monthly basis. So yeah, just give us a call, 949-0006, or email us at frc@gov.ky. We have already created our schedule for the new year, so we have lots of things to roll out. I think lastly, I would definitely like to encourage our young moms. I think that demographic is very important because quite often their support system is not as strong as it could be. And so moms between the age of 18 and 25, if you are currently pregnant or if you have recently had a child, there are a lot of skills programs, exposure, guest speakers, lots of things available at the Family Resource Center, and resources, by all means, we're not just looking at the intellectual piece of things and the information that you can receive, but we realize that those needs are greater. And we also have provisions in place to assist those families with those greater needs. So yeah, definitely get in touch with us.
Thank you. And I hopefully people will. And maybe as they look at the new year, they'll find these resources that gives them a new lease on life and makes it much more enjoyable with a higher quality of life, right?
Absolutely.
Well, enjoy the rest of the week.
Thank you.
The festivities ahead. May they be safe and blessed, no?
And same to you.
Thank you.
All right.
Tomorrow is Thursday, so please join us again for Talk Today right after the midday news and midday meditation. Why don't you do us a favor? DJ Silver Fox is running the board until 3. Inundate him with calls, with making requests for country songs. Christmas country. Call him and see if he'll play it. I'm not sure he knows country music. Let's see what he does. Call him on our request line, 949-6990, and make your Christmas requests. Until tomorrow, be blessed.